This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Jamie Lent, who's in Provo with the Texas Tech baseball team, and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Robert says this, and I think I'm going to disagree with him, Jamie, before we get to the Red Raider baseball from last night. Sadly, Sparky Anderson's win total is more impressive than Bruce Bochy's. It took 3 less years to accomplish. Yeah, he did it in 25, and Bochy's in his, 28th year. But my point's going to be, I think it was easier and Bochy's in his 28th year. I think it was easier for Sparky Anderson in his era than for Bruce Bochy in his era, because Sparky Anderson, when he was with the Reds, those 9 seasons, that was the same lineup every single year. I mean, there wasn't free agency to deal with and movement of players. I'm not going to say he got lucky because he had Concepcion and Johnny Bench and Pete Rose and Tony Perez and Cesar Geronimo and all those guys. But I'm just going to say this: I think it was it's a different era, and for Bochy, he had to deal with player movement and higher salaries, and it's just different. So I think it's harder now because of staying in the games for so long as he did versus what Sparky Anderson did. The thing that Sparky Anderson did is he reinvented himself when he went to the Tigers, because he lost his voice there in Cincinnati and then took over a Detroit team that hadn't had any kind of success and helped build that Tiger team into a world champion.
Okay, I think both are impressive. So
yeah, but I didn't know if you had any other. If you agreed with me or agreed with Robert, or if you just want to, sounds like you're going to stay in the middle.
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion either way. He obviously was a really good manager.
Yes.
So was Bochy.
Yes.
The eras are different,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't have a strong opinion in which was easier or more impressive.
Yeah. This will put a smile on your face, which at least it should. Jamie, you and Hacks do such a great job broadcasting Tech baseball. I know it's tough doing it on a year like this. I actually enjoy you and Hacks talking about food, fans, scenery, etc., since the baseball is so bad. But it was way more fun when Tech was doing the College World Series runs. I know you would agree with that as well.
It was a lot of fun going to the College World Series.
Yeah.
And yes, no question.
It's
but
more
thank
fun.
Thank you for the kind words.
Yeah. All right.
I'd like to think that we still do a good job, no matter if the team's good or bad.
Yes.
There's no question that it's a whole lot more enjoyable to listen to when the team's playing well.
I thought about you last night, about all the things that you've said.
I'm sorry.
No, about this year, because it was a bit of a microcosm in the bottom of the fourth. You just gotten a run in your half of the fourth. To close it to 3-2, and leadoff single. Okay, no harm, no foul. Then you get a strikeout, and then you get the walk, and then Jamie, was that by definition a true balk? I mean, I never saw a replay of it other than just watching it live. Did you question that at all, or did you feel like that there was no question that was a balk on Mac Hewer?
I don't even remember. I think I was looking at something different, so I wasn't. I didn't see the umpire call the balk, so I don't know exactly what he did.
Okay. I mean, it looked like he was. Go ahead.
It's a really, really difficult thing to you got to really know the game of baseball to be super adamant when there are balks and there are not balks. Mm-hmm. It's a hard thing to gauge. Yeah. So I don't usually question those very much.
Okay. All right. And the only reason I said that was because I saw him get off the mound, or kind of get off the rubber and then kind of look back and then look towards first.
You know what, Chuck? Let me forget. Let me remember now. Yes, that was absolutely balk. I was watching that play. That was when he turned and faked a throw to first, and Robin Villeneuve wasn't even there to take the catch.
Okay, so that was the problem, is that Villeneuve was not there.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm remembering the play last night. Yeah, I kind of blocked it out of my mind. Yes, I mean you can't fake a throw to first base. You have to throw the ball.
Okay.
And he couldn't throw the ball because Robin Villeneuve wasn't even holding the runner on. So
okay.
that was a mental mistake from Mac Hewer last night.
Okay, because it's like I didn't see that Villeneuve wasn't covering first base, and I just saw him and was like, how's that a balk? I said to myself, how's that a balk? And then
you can't fake a throw. You have to throw it.
No, I understand that. I just didn't. Well, I guess I didn't understand that, but because I didn't, I was glad I was watching two things at the same time, so maybe that was part of my problem. But anyway, the point is it changes the whole complexion of the inning, right? Because now you have runners at second and third, and then Parker Goff hits a 3-run home run to left field, and I felt like that was part of what kind of, because it changed just how you pitched, maybe, and there just was a cluster after that, because then there's a triple and then there's another home run, and next thing you know, there's a crooked number there in the fourth inning.
I think you're reaching a little bit on that one, Chuck. I mean, they're going to score no matter what, from first or second or third, no matter what, on the 3-run homer.
Yes, I
it kind of speaks to the mental mistake part of it there, and did it affect him and cause him to not focus on the next pitch? I don't know if that's the case or not, but you could probably make a case to say that was what happened. And that's just, about being dialed in and being able to move on and okay, so things aren't great, but how do I get myself out of this? And you the only way Mac Hewer got out of it is when he was yanked out of the game. So last night was a microcosm. All right. I mean, you give up the early runs and 2 in the first, you put the team behind the 8 ball, the team fights their way back into it. They're again having to dig themselves out of a hole. The offense gets runs in a couple different innings to make it a 3-2 game, and you're right there, and it's a baseball game, and then you just implode in the bottom of the fourth on the mound, and just again, that's kind of what we've seen so much of. But as the game went along, I'm not saying you had opportunities to get back in the game, but you definitely had the opportunity to put more pressure on BYU, and you had opportunities a couple different times, first and second, nobody out, bases loaded with 1 out. And you can be happy about the situational hitting that you got to sacrifice flies, but you never got, big swings besides the home run from Bravo. You couldn't get somebody that would, get the ball in the outfield grass with men in scoring position. You went 1 for 7 last night, and the one hit you got didn't drive in a run. And it's, so it's a combination of poor starts to these games on the mound, and then the offense just without the clutch hitting to, get a big swing to put themselves back into it. And again, 3 sacrifice flies are great, but man, you need some hits. Yeah. You need some hits if you're going to put together a crooked number, and you end up with 4 1-run innings last night. And again, this is against a team who came into that yesterday with an ERA of a team ERA of 7.40. That's a full run, almost worse than what the Red Raiders have been. And then the air here is, obviously different. The ball flies out of the ballpark, and I mean, you just couldn't get the big hit when you needed it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're going to think this is really silly, but I was thinking, okay, do you walk this guy to load the bases to force a, potential double play or something? But then I'm like, well, he's the number 9 hole hitter. But man, he had a heck of a game last night. Parker Goff did. And
if you keep hanging breaking balls, right over the heart of the plate, any Division I player should have a good game.
Okay. That's what was happening last night. And Parker
when
Goff,
he hit his double and his home run, same pitch.
Yeah. 2 for 3 with the 3 RBI.
If we were coming into the contest wondering if he could hit that pitch, I think we got our answer.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Drive, time for this day in sports history. Today is May 16th, 2025. It is Friday. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Going to start us off in 1932 because the New York Yankees got their 4th straight shutout to equal the record set by by Cleveland and Boston. 1954, Ted Williams gets 8 hits in the first game. Now, this was a doubleheader.
Okay.
So it was 8 hits in his first game, which was a doubleheader, since breaking his collarbone. That's the way to come back from an injury.
Yes, sir.
No doubt.
1979, Major League Baseball National League approves the sale of the Houston Astros by Fred Motors to John J. McMillan for $19 million.
Fred Motors?
Fred Motors. Ford Motors. I'm sorry, Ford Motors, not Fred. Why did I say Fred? It definitely says Ford there on my sheet of paper. 1985, Michael Jordan, NBA Rookie of the Year. And in 2021, the number 7 Texas Tech baseball team continued its home run barrage at L. Day Mitchell Park with 5 long balls on Sunday to run-rule Oklahoma 13-2 in the 7 innings of the series for the 7 innings for the series victory in Norman, Oklahoma. Jace Young, Cole Stillwell, and Braxton Fulford all went yard as part of a 6-run second inning. Easton Morrell and Cal Conley hit dingers 2 innings later as part of a 5-run fourth. Chuck, you like counting things.
Yeah.
What Friday is this of May?
This would be the 3rd Friday in May.
That's correct. Do you know why the 3rd Friday of May is an excellent Friday?
I do not.
It is because it is National Pizza Party Day.
Oh. We're having a pizza party. We're having a pizza party. We're having a pizza party.
I'm just saying this needs to be done. Everybody get your pajamas on. We're having a pizza party. And we're all going to stay up late watching movies in the morning. Chuck's making waffles.
How about pancakes?
Chuck needs to watch Shrek. That's just what has to happen now. Happy birthday. Big time. Happy birthday. Eric Nadell turned 74 today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Janet Jackson, 59. Megan Fox, 39. Pierce Brosnan, 72. Danny Trejo, 81. Tori Spelling, 52. John Sally, 61. Gardner Minshew, 29. Thurman Thomas, 59. And Jack Morris is 70. And on this day, 1868. The U.S. Senate votes against impeaching President Andrew Johnson for, quote, high crimes and misdemeanors, end quote. He would not be fully acquitted of all charges until 10 days later on the 26th. In February, the House of Representatives charged Johnson with 11 articles of impeachment for vague high crimes and misdemeanors. For comparison, by the way, President Trump and Clinton were both charged with 2 articles of impeachment, and Nixon actually faced 3 charges involving the Watergate scandal. The main issue in Johnson's trial was the staunch resistance to implementing Congress's Civil War Reconstruction policies. The War Department was to be federal agency responsible for carrying out the Reconstruction programs in the war-ravaged southern states. And when Johnson fired the agency head, Congress reinstalled him with after the impeachment. So there you go. This day, sports history.
All right, it's time for your lucky local winning word. It's not impeachment, okay? It is brought to you by the Home Zone and Double T 97.3. The Home Zone, making your house a home. We give away $500 every Tuesday and Thursday. And we did it yesterday to David Fullerton, Jamie. He won $500 from Double T 97.3 and the Home Zone. All you have to do is go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com for your chance to qualify. We'll give you another word at 8:45 this morning. Today's word at 6:50 this morning is somewhat appropriate. We have already talked about this Major League Baseball team just a bit, Jamie. But last night, Bruce Bochy surpassed Sparky Anderson as the 6th most winningest manager in Major League Baseball history, Sparky Anderson last managed the Detroit Tigers. Tigers is your lucky local winning word at 6:50 this morning. Go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com, enter that word, and you could win $500, just like Jamie, David Fullerton, Jody Sullivan, Donna Martinez, Michelle Alexander, Estevan Velasquez. Okay? All those folks have received an extra $500. Okay? All right. And that is not only this day in sports history, but your lucky local winning word. Just looking at the ownership group of the Houston Astros, I didn't know that at one point in time that GE Money, General Electric Credit Company, and the Ford Motor Credit Company owned the Astros. They did that from 75 to 78. And then Ford Motor Credit owned the Astros all by themselves, 78 to 79, before John McMullen bought them, as Jeff said, in 1979 on this day. And then Drayton McLean, the grocery guy, and then now Jim Crane, who has owned them since 2011. So that's fascinating that Ford Motor Credit owned a baseball team, just like at one point in time CBS owned the New York Yankees, and they sold the Yankees to George Steinbrenner, and that really changed the direction of the Yankees completely. They went from a team that was struggling there in the 70s, in the late 60s, to a team that became winners again. Okay.
Wonder if that'll ever happen again.
What I was going to ask you is, do you think at 74 you'll still be broadcasting the Texas Tech Red Raider baseball team?
I was planning to retire at 73, actually.
Okay.
I really don't have an answer for that, Chuck. I thoroughly enjoy it and don't have plans to quit anytime soon. But
right.
I don't know. We'll see.
We all serve at the mercy of the head coach, right, Jamie?
Yeah. Maybe maybe Tad will get a little bit tired of me at some point. So
you bother him with so many questions.
No,
so many questions.
He will never ever get tired of you, Jamie.
I also don't see Coach Tadlock managing till he's like 76 or 77, so that would probably mean there's a new manager that's going to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's going to get tired of all your questions.
Probably so.
Yeah. I just want you to be there when they go to Omaha and have a big old, dog pile on the mound and, bring back that one big trophy that you and everybody else wants. I just hope you're there for that.
Well, I would love to be there for that, but I don't plan on getting in the dog pile. I'm too old, man. I'll get hurt.
Wouldn't that be pain worth it though?
Would you hug Hacks after that? I mean, would you guys hug? Would you be going Bananarama and just like
he would hug Nomar Garcia Parra?
Would you hug Hacks just out of sheer joy as you're crying?
Hacks and I would probably just be a fist bump or a high five.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't feel like I don't think the hug is gonna probably happen.
Okay.
Seems like a little much for the two of us.
Well, I didn't know if maybe that you would just you would be overcome with emotion.
I probably would. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably would be.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie, we get so few of these that I feel compelled, almost required to read it, okay? From the Yates Flooring Center chat line off the Double T 97.3 mobile app presented by Happy State Bank. I just want to pause for a second here because, again, this doesn't happen very often. Chuck is absolutely correct. The PGA Championship has only been played in May for a few years. Washed up guy. Thank you, washed up guy. I mean, an absolutely correct. An absolutely correct.
Hey, Jamie, do you think we would have gotten that long pause if someone said that we were absolutely correct?
Well, Jamie's absolutely correct a lot. I'm not absolutely correct.
Not the question I asked.
Yeah. No comment.
Okay.
No comment.
If you have something that you would like to share, because it's Kid Award Week this week. So if you've got some bragging that you'd like to do on your chillin', or if maybe your teacher is in your house, maybe your wife's or your husband's teacher of the year, and you want to share that, let's see. Go ahead and share with us on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We like success stories, don't you? Don't we, Jamie? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah. Just let us have it.
In addition to the graduation and the softball tournament, we get this. There's also a fairly large kids baseball tournament this weekend that brings families from Midland, Amarillo, Hobbs, El Paso, etc. Great. We'll spend lots of money in our town. Let it all get spread around. That'll be awesome. Have a little cash influx in addition to the graduation.
And have a pizza party.
Jamie, the Texas Tech track and field team completed day one of the Big 12 Outdoor Championship yesterday in Lawrence at Rock Chalk Park. Shelby Frank of Texas Tech, her first throw was all she needed to win the women's hammer throw. She's from North Dakota, and she heaved it, according to this release, 230 feet and 10 inches. That's a new personal best and a new meet record. The previous meet record was set back in 2012.
Wow.
And she beat it by 4 feet 5 inches. So that puts her third in the NCAA, and she is the first Tech woman to win the event at the conference meet. Congratulations to her.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Ernest Chariot won the men's 10K. And get this, his last lap, Jamie, he went 54 seconds and 7/10 to get the win. He is the third Red Raider in Big 12 history to win the 10K, and the first since 2014. Also on the men's side in the hammer throw, Connor Wood took third. He threw at 217 feet 9 inches. I would imagine that there's a different size for the hammer throw for the men versus the women, but still very impressive. And then in the 200-meter run, 3 Red Raiders have secured final lanes for tomorrow's final. Jonathan Crawford had a new personal best of 20.55 seconds. And then Antoine Andrews won his heat with a personal best of 20.59 seconds. And then on the men's 400-meter hurdles, 3 Red Raiders advanced to the finals. So it looks like you're setting yourself up, Jamie, for a pretty good finish. And they have a lot going on today, and then obviously tomorrow the championships start this morning at 11. So, obviously this track team has had a ton of success in both the indoor and the outdoor. So who knows? If you already won 6 Big 12 championships, you might win a 7th.
That's pretty impressive.
It is pretty impressive.
Crazy impressive. Really.
Yes. No question. No question about it. No question about it. So let's see. Look forward to that. Congratulations to my wife, Donna. Today is her last day teaching after 39 years. She's retiring. Good for her.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you to Donna for serving the community so long.
Absolutely. A question that will be asked in the future. Where were you when you found out that Chuck was absolutely correct? I will remember this day. Dan in Dallas. Thank you, Dan.
That's funny.
This from Bullfighter. I love it. I love this. Jamie, I love this. Racer 26 and I are on a bowling league together and could use some good luck. Well, good luck to you guys.
Oh, good luck, guys.
Yeah.
May your 10 pins always fall.
Congratulations to the Sundown Roughette softball team on winning Game 1 of their regional final yesterday, 13-3. Good luck in Game 2 today. Yes. See? We got lots of people celebrating stuff. Jamie?
It's good.
Yeah, that's real good. That's real good. Despite losing last night, West Virginia clinched the Big 12 title in baseball by percentages. So they're 19-7. TCU, Arizona State, and Kansas are all now tied for second at 18-10. Arizona and K-State tied at 16-12. Then Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, Houston, and Texas Tech. So Houston, Texas Tech, and Baylor are all tied with 12-16 mark at this point in time. So you don't know how everything's going to match up in terms of the Big 12. We'll know the after Saturday, probably late Saturday night, what the conference tournament's going to look like in terms of the matchups. But last night, Baylor won at UCF 5-4. K-State lost at Cincinnati 7-4. Kansas beat West Virginia 3-0. And this is why West Virginia clinched, is because Arizona State lost to Oklahoma State 6-2. You said this yesterday, Jamie, that Oklahoma State's playing much better baseball.
Yes, they are.
A little bit of a surprise here, Houston, but they won at home over Arizona 13-4. And
Arizona's been such an up and down team.
And TCU won at Utah 13-5. Would you ever see a point in time where I know they have before, okay, but in Big 12 play where Texas Tech or other teams would do a two-city trip, like knock out BYU and Utah? The problem would be is would you really want to hang around for a week? But you'd probably have to do a midweek road game to justify it, just because of the travel and the expense, et cetera, et cetera. Or is it just
UCF just did that. They played Oklahoma State, and they went to play somewhere in Kansas City. I can't remember what it was, and then Kansas City area, and then they came to Lubbock.
Okay.
On one trip. I would not prefer the Red Raiders ever to do that.
Yeah. That'd be
it's just too much time away as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. 200 somebody wants to know how far that Shelby Frank threw the hammer. 230 feet 10 inches. That is a crazy, crazy event. I mean, there's a lot of spinning and throwing and heaving, and I mean it looks even worse. It's hard, with to throw the discus and the shot put, but the hammer just it's almost I've never thrown it, but I'm fascinated by it.
Man, I've thrown a hammer before. Right after I hit my thumb, that thing went flying. Unfortunately, I had to go pick it back up.
That wasn't fascinating.
Okay, that was good. Littlefield versus Iowa Park in Abilene for the regionals. All right. Congratulations to Coach George Gonzalez on being named Rookie Teacher of the Year for Alcove Trails Middle School. There you go. Congratulations, Coach. That's awesome. So if you have more things that you are celebrating and want to share, you certainly can hit us up.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
It's interesting that you mentioned college basketball there, because I figured we'd change it up today. We haven't talked a lot about the Red Raider men's basketball team much lately, so I thought we would change it up today. And my question for you today is very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a better team right now than you were at the end of last season?
No, I don't think so. I think you have the potential to be, but I mean, you've got pretty good group coming back that you enjoyed a lot of success with. But I mean, you were a couple of minutes away from going to a Final Four. So when you're a couple of minutes of going to a Final Four and you've only been to one in your history, no, that's a really good basketball team that walked off that floor against Florida. So I think you have the potential to be, but I don't think that you are right now. Now, if you were to ask me, are you better today than you were a year ago today? I might say yes to that, because I don't know that you really were sure of your total roster a year ago today.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know that you're completely sure of your total roster right now.
No, I would agree with that, but I just don't think Darion Williams is. Next time he steps on the floor here, it's going to be a civilian, pedestrian, walking across the floor to go to his car.
What's he doing on the floor?
No. Well, I mean, people walk across the floor all the time, Front row Joe guys walk across the floor to get to their seats. So maybe he'll be one of them. Maybe he'll be a television commentator someday. Maybe he'll just be here to be a part of a team that's recognized for getting to an Elite Eight.
Okay.
Maybe he'll come here as an opposing player.
Okay, so the key word that I'm focusing on here from Jamie's question is better. Are you a better team? No. I don't think you're a better team now than you were at the end of the season. I think you're as good as you were at the end of the season, which puts you ahead of where you were a year ago. The thing that you have to do still, which is preventing you from being the better team, in my opinion, is they need to get to know one another. And they need to play as a team, which I fully expect that they will. Mm-hmm. But since they haven't done that yet, they can't be better.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. And it just takes time to gel and all those kind of things.
Right.
That makes sense. Okay. Maybe it would have been a different answer for you guys if I had said, do you think they have the potential to be better? Do you think they, when it's all said and done, that they will be better?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I could have changed up the question that way. I personally was just thinking about the roster makeup of the team. And I'll be honest with you, Chance McMillan, Elijah Hawkins, Darion Williams were your three primary ball handlers. And none of those guys are coming back. And you have not brought in what looks to be a true point guard. Now, do you have guys that can handle the ball? Sure you do. Okay. But you've not brought in a true point guard. And I think Elijah Hawkins was a true point guard. I think that's a major reason why you had so much success last year was because of him. So I'm nervous about the point guard position right now. I know you brought in some versatile guys that can do a lot of different things, but I don't think any of them I see as a prototypical point guard type. Christian Anderson can handle the ball just fine. I don't see him as a point guard. I don't want him playing point guard. I want him playing off the ball so he can score. And so I'm nervous right now about where the roster is. I feel like there needs to be a point guard added to this mix. I feel like Coach McCaslin and his staff still have to be working on that. But I feel to get to the potential that is possible with this team and to get to where you were a season ago, I don't know. It just feels like you need a primary ball handler there.
Yeah. Somebody says this. Do we know that Elijah Hawkins is not returning? Has he applied for the added year for playing a JUCO year? No, he did not play a junior college year. He would only get the fifth year if the NCAA says the new rule is going to be you get 5 to play 5. So
surely not. They're not going to do that right now, right?
I wouldn't think so, Jamie. I just think there's too little time to get that implemented. But man, we've seen crazier things. But I agree with you. I just don't think there's time. Somebody asked this question: has Darion Williams announced anything yet? No. He just that he's still going through the draft process. And listen to the end of the bench yesterday with Rob Bro and Craig Wells. Rob's opinion is that he wants to be in the NBA. He wants to be a pro player. Maybe he's done playing school. And Craig's view of it was just looking at the mock drafts that he's seen. The rounds 1 and 2 don't include Darion Williams. So
yeah,
I think if he was going to be at Texas Tech, he'd be here.
Yeah, he's not putting himself in a great spot because I'm seeing the same thing on those mock drafts. I'm just not seeing his name anywhere. And I mean, the amount of money he could be making playing in college is probably more than he will be guaranteed by any stretch playing in one of these, whether it be the NBA G League or going overseas for a little bit. So I don't know. I think Darian Williams is going to end up playing college basketball somewhere next year. I don't think it's going to be at Texas Tech.
Yeah. Chuck, why you always have to hate on something? Now you're hating on D5, man. You need some happiness in your life. I got a lot of happiness. Go find a trail and go hiking. That would...
Wrong guy. Wait, whoa. Wrong guy.
My
that's
hiking
Jamie,
days. Yeah.
That's Jamie that needs to go take a hike, and we'll thank you on the way out the door.
Yeah.
Chuck needs an ice cold Coors Light
and a beach.
Yes. That's where you send Chuck to find happiness.
Yeah, there you go. Jamie can disagree about something and not sound like he hates it. Okay. Well, I'll try to be more like Jamie.
Ooh. We're going to rename this show The Morning Bore.
I mean, there was a time when I hiked.
Snoozer.
There was a time when I hiked, but I mean...
And now your hike is to the kitchen to get another Coors Light. That is where your hike is.
Or something.
There's nothing wrong with that. That is just where you hike.
Maybe a piece of pie or a piece of cheesecake, which I fell asleep in my chair last night and neglected to get the cheesecake out.
And that is where Chuck was happy. It was in his recliner, taking a nap.
Taking a nap before I go to bed, right.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hour 3 of 3 for us today on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. Jamie, Jeff, and I, we all come to you from the First United Bank studio. Jamie is in Provo, Utah, with the Red Raider baseball team. Jamie, what's on tap today for you besides baseball?
Did you not see the cougar tail in the box?
Oh, he's going to eat that and take a nap.
That's going to be half the day.
I am not going to finish that thing. That is for certain. I'm going to sit here at this desk and work.
Okay.
Got a lot to get done.
Okay. Yeah. Yesterday was not the day that you wanted, obviously, for your Red Raider baseball team, as they fall 13-4. So you just gotta turn that frown upside down and hand the ball over to Tyler Brudeau and see what he can do. We'll have it for you at 6:30 tonight and 7 o'clock first pitch. And he has been a guy that has been, I don't know if he's been your best, but he's been maybe as consistent as any of them, Jamie?
I would say the last 3 weeks he's been your best. I would not call him the most consistent as the season has totally gone along, but
right.
The last 3 weeks he's given you 3 really good starts in a row. So hopefully he's able to keep that going.
And now
I don't know that you could claim any of them besides Jack Siebert have been consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just trying to look for, trying to look for a little glimmer of sunshine there. I mean, I get it. I understand. It's hard to.
With Tyler, I just say keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he's been really good 3 times out in a row.
Mm-hmm. I guess the thing now is, and I don't know if you've had a chance to look at, because the conference standings are so jumbled up. As you enter the next couple of weeks, or next couple of days here, today and tomorrow, is there a team that you would like to face, that you have the potential to face in the first round of the Big 12 tournament, Jamie?
I'd prefer to avoid Oklahoma State for a few different reasons. I would, beyond that, I don't know. It's really not about the opponent at this point.
Yeah, it really is. It really is truly about you, isn't it? I mean, not you, Jamie, but I mean you, the team.
Yeah, and maybe it feels like when you're playing well, you can compete with and challenge anybody in this conference. I mean, you go through that 3-weekend stretch that we talked about when you played the number 1, the number 2, and number 3 teams, and you were 4-5, and you lost a 1-run game to each of those 3 teams, and you showed that you can be good, and that you can compete with the best of the best in this conference. But then the last 2 weekends, you played the 2 teams that were 12th and 13 in the conference, and you've gone so far combined 1-3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just which team's going to show up? What's the starting pitching going to do? Are they going to give you a shot and not make you feel like you're climbing out of the hole immediately after, stepping onto the diamond? And so, I mean, those are the things that you got to wait and see what happens, I guess.
Would there be any consideration in starting Jack Siebert at some point in time? Or I guess if you were going to do it, you probably would have done it by now, right?
I mean, I would guess consideration, yes. I just feel like so if you're going to win the Big 12 tournament, right? Mm-hmm. You got to win 4 games. It feels like you would want Jack to try to help you in more than one of those games.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you put all your eggs into the basket and say, let's start him in game 1 because we're the most confident in him. Okay, well, that gets you to the second round. Unfortunately, you don't have enough weapons to be able to do that and be able to afford not having him in the bullpen.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. That makes the most sense. And at this point in time, I mean, you just haven't been able to string together a bunch of success. And I mean, there've been times when you have, but I mean, it feels like you've been playing from behind all season long.
Yeah, which you almost literally have.
Right.
I don't even know what the longest win streak is for this team, Chuck. It doesn't feel like they've been able to string much together at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the consistency, on the mound, the consistency at the plate. It just hasn't been there. If you
could wave a magic wand, and this is sometimes something that I ask people about their businesses. If you could wave a magic wand right now over this team for the next 2 days, what would you like? What would be the best thing that could happen aside from the winning? That's a given.
Get good starting pitching performances and get your offense to hit in key situations.
Okay. I mean, and for starting pitching, it would be like if you could get a couple of guys to go 6 innings, that would be you'd be celebrating, right?
Tickled pink.
Tickled pink. Okay. Tickled pink. We get this from the Yates Flooring Center Challenge. Just been a tough year. Baseball can be that way. Somebody asked this question. I'll let you answer it. Jamie, is Tadlock's job in trouble at all? Genuine question.
I do, and I've said before on the chat line, I'll be surprised if there are not changes made with the staff. I would not believe that any changes would be made with Tim Tadlock unless Tim Tadlock decided he wanted to be done.
Yeah. That makes a ton of sense right there.
I mean, you don't. I mean, obviously you've struggled the last 2 seasons. I think that you're going to make changes. That would be my guess.
Yeah. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, of the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. The baseball that we'll have today, it also includes softball. Lubbock Cooper is in action today. They've got to win 2 to keep their season alive. They take on Grapevine. They were losers yesterday, 4-1. They'll play at noon. We'll have it for you on 100.7 The Score. And you've got Astro baseball tonight at 6:35. They take on the Rangers. Rangers won last night, 1-0. Also we'll have Lubbock Cooper baseball today on Young Country, 93-1. They take on Argyle. They were winners yesterday in 12 innings, 1-0 over Argyle. And then, of course, Game 2 of the Texas Tech BYU series tonight from Provo.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet973.com.